I think some of the key messages from the GS1 Annual Summit 2021 were, one, we are now seeing an acceleration of everything around digital as well as digital transformation. Number two, we are seeing a lot of these new emerging technologies like AI and blockchain and virtual tech that's going to transform the entire supply chain. Three, we're also seeing the emergence of the next generation, the Gen Z consumers. We spent a lot of time talking about those millennial consumers, but now we see the Gen Z consumers. And if you look across mainland China, already 260 plus million Gen Zs, they are already very tech savvy and digitally minded. So they are already digital natives, and we have to deal with that from a business perspective. I think point number four, we're also now hearing a lot about businesses needing to be purpose-led, and the fact that ESG and sustainability are very key messages, because we are now hearing from those consumers. They're really watching very carefully. They're demanding far greater transparency. And of course, nowadays, we also have far greater data that is available. Fifth and final point is the fact that we've already seen the mindset change from those consumers, the new normal. They're not going to go back to the old ways of doing things. We also need to ensure that we are following those consumers, and they're also demanding far greater transparency than ever before. I think we heard some really good stories this morning from the GS1 Annual Summit. Ricky Wong from HKTV Mall really told us that we now need to ensure that we get digital, that we also, of course, follow our consumers. I think that's a very key message. Equally, we also heard about talent development and the need for all of us to upskill and reskill our current workforce. And I think that was a very key message. And again, we also heard about trust and purpose, and the fact that not just the consumers are concerned about this, but also your own people, your own staff are also now really watching you in terms of what are you doing around supporting the communities that we live and work in. The GS1 Annual Summit is always one of those must-see events, and I'm delighted that we welcome back the hybrid version of the GS1 Annual Summit, so that it was in person, but there were also 1,300 delegates, and a large number of them were also virtual delegates, not just from Hong Kong, but from across mainland China and from around the region. And so it's really important that these key events, they happen, that they take place, because we really do want to hear from those industry leaders. We also want to hear from those up-and-coming entrepreneurs that are also disrupting the marketplace. And we've also got to accept that the new normal is here, and we're not going to go back to the old way of doing things.